All right, good morning, folks. It is I, Chief Sarcan, with Ask the Chief streaming here on MMORPG.com. And every Sunday I like to take a random game. Sometimes it's the same game over and over again. Sometimes I like to just pick something new to review and talk about. And today I'm going to delve into EQN Landmark. I've been dabbling in this game for a couple of weeks now, since it went into alpha. And I thought I would, bring it up here. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about it. Let's see where they're at right now. It is extremely addictive. It is extremely fun, and it has a long way to go. But I haven't had a chance to talk about it. And you know me, I like to talk about games. So here we are. Let's talk about Landmark. So here you are. You can see me on my character, and I'm on my claim. And I am going to say hello. How are you doing? Yes, emotes work. We're doing great. So let's take a look. Here is my current claim. This is what I got going here that I've been able to successfully build. And keep in mind, my building skills are pretty minimal. But we're going to cover the basics. We're going to take a look at the different things that are available to you. We're going to talk about prop scaling, which I think is extremely fun to play with. And I know it doesn't get much air talking about those scaling capabilities. Everybody wants to talk about build this, build that. Look at my decorations. They're awesome. Well, we're going to go over some of that stuff. But more importantly, I'm here to answer your questions because this is Ask the Chief streaming, by the way. So we'll just go over a couple of basics here since this is my first look publicly for the game. So your basic controls is you have your basic menu, which you can hotkey everything with, or has hotkeys. You can open up your character panel with H, and it brings up your window. There's some video bugs with this. I am actually wearing an outfit, and I actually have a grappling hook that just aren't being displayed, but you can pull up stats. So you can see here later on in the game, there are going to be a lot of stats associated with your character, both general and harvesting. When they get combat in here, I'm sure there's going to be another panel for your prowess in combat. How hard can you hit stuff? How well can you fight? Right now, you only have 2 rings slots available. So every accessory that you can make will go into these 2 slots. You have your inventory, which my inventory is kind of full of stuff because I'm going to show you stuff. One interesting thing that I would like to note that I hope they change this is your tools for building actually stay in your bag. It'd be cool if they had their own spots you could put them in so they were not taking up bag spots, but that's just a personal thing, not a big deal. And also you have to put them on your regular hotbar. It'd be nice if you went into build mode, you got rid of your harvesting tools and just brought up your building tools. Kind of separate and divorce the 2 aspects of the game, but I'm digressing. We're covering basics here. So the other functions and meters you can pull up a map, and the map is really cool and it's gone through some recent changes. You can filter. Right now it's pretty, how we say, limited because you can't really search for other people's plots. You kind of have to know where they're at, but that is coming. It is alpha. But you can see my plot is clearly highlighted by the blue square or the gold and blue flag. And then you can see everybody else's plots by a flag. It's pretty cool. You can slide over and you can zoom in on somebody's plot and you can see a basic outline of their construction, which is pretty cool. So you can go, hey, do I want to run over here and get a closer look at this person's build? Or do I want to run over here and look at this guy's? Oh, this guy's just got a bunch of holes in the ground. So I probably don't want to go over there. But let's see here. Let's look at my immediate neighbor right here, who is actually a friend of mine. And you can see here, oh wow, he's got a building here and he's got a big tower. This one might be worth going to look at. So the map feature and the zoom function is pretty good. You also can get hints at the type of materials and where they're at that you can go for mining, and we'll get to that shortly when we actually go to mine. So that's your map feature. You got your claim management, which you can open up with you. And in the future, they're planning on having the ability to earn multiple claims. Good morning, Dutch. No, I'm not doing WildStar right now. I might later, but this is my random Sunday show, and I thought I would delve into something new. But hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out. Claim management, you can control, or eventually will be able to control, who can work on your plot with you. I call it a plot. It's your claim is what they call it in game. Eventually you're going to be able to tie your claims with other people's claims or multiple claims together as you earn more. As you can see here, I've only got one claim, and I can open up my management and I can give it a name. I can give it a welcome message, so when somebody walks up, what's printed in this text area here will say what it is. And then you can enter tags for your claim that'll go on for a search function. So remember when I opened up the map, let's go ahead and close that real quick. You could type in a filter here and you could search for claims based on that, because one of the philosophies of EQN that they're talking about is there might be themes. So you might have an island that's based on, you know, French design, and you know you got a role play and you only build in that theme, or you got castle design, or whatever the philosophies might be. You'll be able to add tags to your claim to say I have this. So like my plot right now, because I'm into the crafting and I've got all the tiers of the crafting stations, I might put here max crafting stations and people could search on me. But as we said, the search function is not quite finished. So and then your last area is options. So that's the basics of your menus, and these buttons do the same thing, but you can also use the hotkeys. You open up your inventory. If you want to swap something, you just right click and all this stuff. So let's go ahead and take a tour of my plot. As you can see here, if we come up to the top, you can see the size of the box. And the way this works is anything inside the box you can craft and build. And you can see there's this somebody's plot down there below, someone's down here, so on and so forth. I cannot effectively build anything that goes past these lines, and actually there's a small glitch right now that if you get too close to the lines it can possibly cause you problems. But as you come down here, you can see I've built myself a little patio that I put my crafting stations up, and we're going to go over the crafting stations here just shortly. I just want to give you the tour. But you can also notice I can build platforms just sitting out in the ground, or I can dig inside. And actually my daughter did this part for us. She built this little hollowed out place inside the mountain, and all she did was use tools to dig it out. And she made some stairs that I need to fix because the stairs are too big, but you can walk up through here. And now we have an upstairs patio. So anything you want to do inside this area, you can do. All you have to do is dig. You can actually click on plants and move them, scale them. This is the scale feature I was talking about. You can do this with the plants on your property also, and move them around. Say I didn't want this one right here. I can move it. Just pick it up and say, you know what? Let's just put it over here somewhere. So it's got a really robust and really fun way to manage your property and do stuff with it. Now it looks like it's just hovering, but we could do fun things like build a pot to go underneath of it. We could do all kinds of stuff. And I'm hoping that someday these get a little bit better with the controls, so maybe I hit a direction and then I could use my mouse wheel and move it around rather than trying to grab a hold of the arrows and move it. But you know what? We're alpha, right? So let's just put that right there for now. Come on down. So let's run over the basics of how the game works. The game is basically on progression. So what I mean by that, and I'm going to pull up a chart for you here. You have progression in the game that basically you start the game with a stone pick. You can use your stone pick to harvest copper and the gems that go with that of agate. You will need to take that copper and agate and build a crafting station eventually to be able to make more stuff. Or you can use the crafting station that comes at the portal, and then you'll be able to make yourself a copper axe. So you want to create a copper pick or axe for trees, and then you're going to be able to go out and get tin and tourmaline, and so on and so forth. And you're just going to work your way through the progression. And as you harvest higher and higher stuff, you have more and more stuff that you'll be able to craft based on the crafting station that is available to you. So now that you got the basic idea that you have to progress up in your collecting, now think about in the future when you also are going to have to fight for indigenous population to be able to have the opportunity to harvest. It's going to be fun. It's going to be still mainly a building game, but it is going to have some progression, so it's not so, hey, let me jump in game and build anything I want. No, it takes resources to build, and those resources are going to need to take a certain type of pick or axe to collect them, and those resources are going to use to affect what you build. So for example here, this is just a stone platform, but say I want to build out of copper, or I want to build out of tin, and you can see there's patterns or color schemes for these resources that when I build. So look at all these different color patterns I got for iron. So let's pick this one just as an example, and let's just build a giant iron box. See how I did that there? I just made a really big iron box, but see, now you see the texture pattern on it. But what if I don't like, I decide, you know what, I don't like that pattern. Let me go ahead and change it to this pattern. Oops, I took it off my bar. And I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, but that's okay. I'm waiting for your questions. So we can just paint it, and now it changes the look. It's still built out of iron. I didn't change the material it's made out of, but it gave it a completely different look just by changing it. And we can just do this over and over again. Say now, what if we wanted shiny metal? Because I'm in the Navy, I might want to build a ship. So let's go ahead and make it out of shiny metal. Or we can do it completely different. Let's make it out of silver. And we change the look to silver. So the possibilities of what you can build and what they look like are pretty endless. But before you can get to there, you got to do the tool upgrades I was talking about. Well, these are your crafting stations. You got your saw for doing wood. You got your forge for doing metal. You have a sifter, which lets you reclaim gems and ore from dirt and stone. When your bags fill up with generic dirt and stone, you can build one of these. And then you have a workbench, which is mainly designed for building your props. So let's just start at the beginning. Your first thing you're going to ever craft on is a forge. So you're going to click on your forge, and the stone forge is going to be the one that starts everything out. They're at the portals at the beginning of the zones, or once you got enough copper with your stone axe, well, yeah, you still have to go to the stone forge. You can build your own crafting stations. These are the upgraded crafting stations. You can build your own stone forge to take back to your property, or you can build the various things. Now, this is the highest level crafting forge there is, so everything is available. And I'll show you the basic one here in a second. So once you have your forge, you can build stuff. And the pick progression, here's what I was talking about, of where you're going to have to upgrade your picks to be able to harvest all the different resources. And then you click on it, and it's going to tell you what do you need to build this. And it's going to tell you what you have in your bag or your bank to allow you to build. Right now your bank and your builds are tied, and all the resources that you need to have to be able to make this item. So it's saying I can make a bronze pick, because if you remember my chart, I need a copper pick to be able to make a bronze. Well, that's basically an upgrade of that pick. So I happen to have a copper pick in my bank. I can upgrade it to a bronze pick and hopefully get a better pick. And we can look at the bank here. I've got a crafted bank, And you can see here I have some green, copper, some dull orange, a copper pick, so on and so forth. So let's just do that. Let me make sure I have my... No, I don't want my harvest bonus. I want my crafting bonus. Let's see if we can make an improved bronze pick. So we'll go bronze pick. I need that copper. It doesn't matter that it's in my bank. I need the following. I need plain wood planks, burled wood, tin, elemental tin, and tourmaline. So let's see if we get lucky and get ourselves a blue or purple, which is legendary, bronze tip. And we did. Look at that. We just got ourselves a rare blue bronze pick, which has a speed of 87, 73, or size 87, 73 speed, and 43 damage. So this is a perfect segue to go into what these numbers mean. As you can see there, resource rating 3, that corresponds to the chart I showed you. The size is how big of a hole do you hit. The speed is how fast you hit it. And the damage is how much damage you do when you hit that area, because every resource has the amount of damage it will take before you can pick it up. And so the better those numbers are, the quicker you're going to harvest. So that just gives you an example of how harvesting works. And since I don't need this pick, I'm going to put it back in the bank. And now I have a blue pick that I could give away. And I have another one right here. And as you can see, comparing it, this one was 87 size, 73 speed, 43 damage. This one's 41 damage, 91 size, 70 speed. So it's a little slower. But this one's faster and does more damage. So there you can compare two bronze picks that are blue. I don't happen to have any purple gear, so that doesn't help you. But that gives you an idea. And then so on and so forth. You can go over here to your wood, and you're going to have to make your wood, make a crafting station, make props. Do you want a large barrel? Actually, that's a pretty cool barrel. Let's make one of those. And let's go out here and take a look at our props, just so you can see them up close and personal. So, we just made this barrel. We put this barrel out here, and as you can see, we have the options to rotate it. We can have it to where just the top is sticking out, or we can put it on its side. Pretty much anything we want to do with the barrel, we can do. We can move it. We can have it suspended in the air if we want. And it's just sitting there. We can scale it. And this is the part I really wanted to get into, is the fact that I can make it a itty bitty tiny barrel, or I can make it a really, really, really big barrel. And this is where I'm saying I would hope they one day get this where I select this and I can just use my mouse wheel to scroll it, because this dragging it is a pain. And let's rotate that back up, move it back down, and we just have a really large barrel. Now the downside of the props right now is, oh, this one I can actually stand on. Some props you walk through them, some props you can get on. So this one I can actually get on and put another prop on top of it. So if I want to drop a table right here, it won't let me drop a table on top of the prop. But watch this. I put the table there, I say move it. Now I can move it up here, slide it over. And now I have a table on a barrel. And I can stand up on here. So as you can see there, you can pretty much do whatever you want here, which I think is pretty cool. I think the controls are a little clunky right now, which is why I'm having the show today, is to basically talk about my impression of the game. I know there's lots of videos out there, there's lots of instructions that talk about this, but my show is about me talking to you about the game. So this is my impressions. Right now, the functionality and capability they have in game at this juncture is phenomenal. Do I think there's room for improvement? Yes, there's lots of room for improvement, and we know there's going to be improvement. But right now, this stuff is pretty cool. It really is. Let me show you. Let me pick up that. And see, look at that. I just left the tables hanging in there. So let me check some questions here. So, when beta starts, there will be a wipe. That is correct. That is not correct for release. It has been stated that once we go into beta, everything you will lose your claim, and you will lose your construction. However, you will keep all of your templates, and we haven't got to that yet, but templates are, you build a design and you make it into a template. So if you make this huge castle, when you pick up your claim, it'll make a template out of that to where you can make a new claim, click on your template, and plop that castle back down exactly the way it was. That is the plan right now, keeping in mind that everything is subject to change. Everything in alpha is going to be wiped. How much resources you have, the picks that you've created, the crafting stations, everything will be gone. In beta, they have stated that once you build it, you'll get to keep it. Your resources will be wiped out, I believe, but your templates and everything like that will stay. You get to keep your name, all that stuff. That is the way I understand it correctly right now. Let's see here. Next question. So, EverQuest Next and Landmark are two separate games that will have stuff in common, but I do not believe that they will link directly in any way, shape, or form. Let's see here. There will be a survival component to the game. That is correct. Combat is coming. There'll be no more just walking around and not worrying about things. Right now, one thing I can do is I can just jump off of this wall and I don't take any damage. That will not be the case in the future. There will be damage. You fall down off the cliff, you're gonna get hurt. There are going to be aspects of quests and stuff like that also. Let's see here. The one thing I will point out to you and show you that I have been successful to build, that I'm quite proud of, is my lamp stand. So it looks like it's just floating in the air, and it is. But I made this oriental style lampstand where it's kind of got these funny shapes and it's got this magical thing hanging before it. But let's get up and close and personal. Let's take a look here. But look at how I made the textures. Ah, I fell off. No. All right, we'll just hang around here. I made these textures out of brass or copper. So I use this copper technique of making pieces go together. And the thing about the build process of Landmark is when you put two things together, they are going to do kind of this melding process between the two places. So sometimes it can be really hard to keep something perfectly flat or perfectly round, because as you build that and stack things and put things next to each other, they're going to get this deformation look between them. Well, I took advantage of that by making this straight bar go across here in such a way next to this angle that it made the impression that I wanted to do this little divot type effect between the two spots. So I intentionally caused morphing in a way that I wanted, and when I got done, it gave me this cool dome effect with a divot effect like an old Chinese lamp style thing. And then I put pieces of brass in here to give it some texture and some color. Now, I'm not even getting into micropixelization that there's all kinds of guides for out there. My building skills are pretty pathetic. But you can see, for me, I consider that a pretty good job. So let's take a look at the tools, shall we? So for the tools, and you have to earn your tools. So you start out with a build tool, which is an add tool. Then you'll get a delete tool, which allows you to take your resources back, and everything you build with and everything you take away, you reclaim. And this, you have to choose what type of thing you want to build with. These are the current shapes you can build with. Most common is the cube, obviously. Oh, commercial? Sorry, I'll give it a second. So you have to start by picking your tool, shape. How do you want to build? How do you want to subtract? Then you're going to pick your resource. This number here on the bottom determines the resource, how much resource you have of that particular material. So if I was to change this to stone, and let's pick a white plaster wall, it tells me I have 102,000 stone. However, if I was to pick, say, rubies, and I wanted to build out of rubies, I only have 1,600 of them. This up here tells you the size of your tool. So if I say I want to build, it's going to tell me the size of my thing. Oops, 9. It's going to tell me how big it is. So, and you can hit your N to change your scale factor, and it goes up in that factor. So this is going up in factors of 3, and this is going up in factors of, there's this one 3. This one's 3. This one's factors of 2. So it just basically tells you your size. And then you place it. And as you can see there, I have 1604 now. But if I take it back, I get those back, and it tells you I'm now at 1668. So I reclaimed 64 rubies by building that block. The number of rubies you use is based on the size of the block. So if you don't have the resource, you can't build with it. You can change by hitting C and change from a sphere to a square. Or you can come over here and select it. Now let's switch back to a material I actually have enough of. And let's build something. And say we want to, let's just build, oops. And you can hit Control Z to do that. Let's see here, 9. Let's just put a couple of squares here. Then we could go down. All right, let's change the corner here. Let's just take that shape right out of there. See if we can make something interesting. So we're making like a totem pole type thing, right? And let's see what else we can do here. Let's pick a new shape. You notice how it's kind of deforming the area there. So let's back that up and go, nah, that's pretty ugly. But we can do things like rotate this. Try again. See what we get out of here. Nope, we don't like that. Let's rotate it again. Let's try and build with it instead so we can see what we can see here. See how we're rotating it here before we place it? We can also shift tab and we can now scale it. Make it a tower. And that way you can see what it looks like. Notice how it's not a straight flat pyramid here though, because it's deforming. It doesn't go straight up. So, but you can rotate it up and place it on its point instead. But notice, see how it bubbled up our platform down here. And this is why I say I'm pretty bad at building, because I'm not good at noticing when it might cause something else to have a problem. See how it built up there? but if I take it out, it's still flat. So you can also hit your G key and have it be flat or not flat as far as melding up next to the next property. So that's basically building tools. Now our next tool is our selection. Say we wanted to, oops, 0, there we go. Say we wanted to move this or make a copy of it. We can use our selection tool to highlight this, and we can either take the part of it or we can drag our areas and get the whole thing. Say we just want this front piece. Now we can use typical copy and paste type functionality. And we can go C, and then we can go V. And now let's see here, let's go over here to this corner and place our copy. And now we have just a copy of that section that we took out of there. But you notice I got a little too much. So let's try that again. I went down one too many for my liking. There we go. Like I said, I'm not very good at this building stuff, but it's fun. It really is. Now let's try this. And we can move this around before we paste it. We can rotate it, put it in different directions. Let's see here. We want to get right here on this corner. Now let's rotate it. Put the base down. Put it in. Now we paste it. There we go. You can also scale it. Well, sometimes. Not this one. This one you can't scale. And so there, now we've made this interesting looking little thing on the corner. Now let's take our next thing. Our next thing is our smoothing tool. Now the smoothing tool is a little interesting, and this is how you get into micro constructions, is you can highlight something and it'll kind of reduce or pixelate the area of the point. And you can do it a number of times, and it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and gives you some unique shapes. So I can sit here and play with this and basically just melt it. Then you can do stuff like use your selection tool again and say I just want that point. Oops, what happened? There we go. Now let's just post that point. And so now I've created this little tiny thing that I can draw a line with. So now I've got smaller than a block of a fin type shape that you can do stuff with. Notice how they connect and draw a line between them. And believe it or not, this is my first successful attempt at doing this. And so there you can see I've just kind of made this weird small frame-like shape by using that smaller piece. Takes practice. So anyway, that's using that small functionality to make, and you can see these on these miscellaneous shows. Now we can do something fun here is we can select this, even though it's not a very good piece. And we can paste this right on top of itself. If I can get this just right. And I almost made, as someone eloquently said, like a walk-in bathtub. Let's go back to our square here. Let's open this up a little bit. This is kind of cool. Dun dun dun! Pretty cool, huh? So, there you go. I might actually do something with that. That turned out pretty good. Not bad for so let's do something cool. Let's switch this up. And let's see here. Make a gold front for it. I ended up with a bubble there somehow. I don't like that. But you can see the basic buildings from it. So, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and take a look at, before I digress any further, I wanted to show you some of the miscellaneous props that can be built. Or stations. So let's go back inside the cave. So I think we have some more room in here. So we can get an impression of how big something is. And let's look at, let's make the room bigger. So let's go ahead and make our thing here, and let's drill into the mountain. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And all we're doing, as you can see here, is cutting away the inside of our building. And you got different sizes you can cut away. You can also use your funny shapes to cut away, so you can cause effects inside. So there we could have just made this cave look like dragon teeth. And if we wanted to do the same thing on the other side, we just rotate it around and pick a wall and chop away. Try this one. What's this one look like? Well, that one gives us kind of a different area effect, right? So this is a good way to learn your different tools and shapes by actually cutting out and seeing what they do. And see what you're left with. Kind of get the feeling? Cool. So, I'm rambling here. So let's put up a torch, because it's a little dark in here. Let's get some light in our tunnel here. But wait, that torch isn't quite big enough. Let's scale that up. Now let's light that sucker. There we go. Or maybe we want it a little torch. Let's scale it down. So as you can see here, your options for building with the props and using them is pretty cool. You've already seen the bench, but what about a table? Let's build a table. How big or small can we make this? As you can see here, we can get pretty good size with our tables. Same thing with our tools. You can scale your tools and make them very large, or you can make them really, really tiny. And I think this is very interesting because while you need your crafting tools, you may not want to be overly intrusive with them, so you can make them small. The neat thing about the tools is they all have some kind of effect that come off of them. So you can see here, this one's dropping dust and dirt out of the bottom of it. If I was to rotate this, I could have this effect be somewhere that would be very cool. So let's bring it back down. Rotate it over, because say I don't need this crafting station anymore. So what if I move this up into the ceiling? Well, now I have this dust-like effect coming down out of the ceiling. So while the tools are designed for building, you can also use them as part of your decoration, which I think is really cool, and there's some really unique builds out there that have taken advantage of this, especially like the forge and the sawmill, because they smoke. Let me scale this down so you can see that. So now see how this smokes? Many people have built actual chimneys and stuck their old tools inside of it, so your chimney actually smokes. I mean, where they're going with this game, I think, is really, really cool, and the things that you can do. And we haven't even got to water effects, maybe a lava flow type effect. I mean, moving animations in the game are going to make your builds so much cooler. And you can take a look at that same thing with the forge. You look at the forge also smokes, but it also has this fire effect in the front of it. So you could build this to actually look like a fireplace. So there you go. I mean, you can use these things and cause different effects. Now the table, actually let me escape out of this. That table, I wanted to show you just how big this table can get, because this is just insane. My first build actually had everything on it as huge. I mean, look at that. You could turn, well, you could turn the top of this into something that could be very cool. You could actually turn this into like the roof of a house or something if you set it up right. Now, it would eat up a bunch of your space inside your building, but the possibilities that you can use your decorations and your tools and everything are just limitless, really. As you can see here, I already showed you how to pick up or scale your trees. You can also chop them down. But one example here, let's take a look at something I did. Remember the torches? I made candles out of pillows. So I took a torch and I took a pillow, and here's a pillow that's normal, and I scaled the pillow down. And I put it around a torch so I can make candles for my table. Now keep in mind, this originally wasn't my idea. I got this off the forums. But it's such a great way to engage your props and your effects to do different things. I don't know if I can do it or not, but let's try it. Oops. see here. Let's take one voxel here. Now, had I done that right, now it looks like if I was to get that cube centered correctly, now my cup actually looks like it has something in it. So it really comes down to your imagination and how you want to put stuff together. So now instead of having an empty pot, I actually have something in it. Sure, it's just one pixel or one square of floor material, but it looks like I have juice in there. So there's a lot of things you can do. So like this is a bank. I actually can store stuff. If you buy the starter pack, this is your bank. This little portal mirror thing. You can build forages, stores, barrels, and stuff like that. But that's enough of my build. Let's go down here and look at my friend's build. And I can show you some stuff that really can be done with this place. Now look at this. We have a tower here. And if you look in his tower, he's got like a green ball up there. He's got a roofing system, a tower, a little workshop. He built a pathway. He's got his crafting stations over here in a nice way. And notice how he built around the chimney system to give it an effect. He's got a sawmill over here. Now he's just got the smoke going through the roof over here. But over here, he actually has it going right through. Oh, and he's got a little downstairs with an opening door. So we come down here and we have, oh, it's his bank. Sitting on some benches with his flags and stuff. Now we can't do anything on his plot other than open doors, use his tools because of the way the permission systems work. But we can explore. So let's go into his house. Once again, those doors work. Remember I told you using your fireplace abilities, he built an actual fireplace. And this is one of your props you can get. You got chairs to here. He's really excelled at building where I haven't. You got working stairs, a deck. He's even got a bed. He made out of bed. And I noticed this is marble. But he made it look like a blanket using the smoothing tool and building the props and so on and so forth. He's got a full-on bathroom. Look at this. He's got a gold-plated sink. He made a toilet. How original is that? And a bathtub that looks down upon the fire. And then your vaulted roofing and the tower. Let's go take a look at this tower. So he's got like this green glowing globe up here for his tower. And we are on the top of his tower. So imagination in this game and time and building, you can do a lot of stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and head over to another friend's plot and show you that because she's built the Airy and it's really cool. Oop, I missed. And we'll show you how to harvest while we're doing this. And I'm using the grappling hook to get around quickly, just to show you how it works. And the grappling hook is a tool that you can build that basically gives you a Spider-Man effect. You shoot it up, you grab a hold of something, and you're just hanging around. I'm Spider-Man. Do-do-do-do-do-do. And you just use the jump thing. Now this is a tree we can harvest. So if I break out my axe, I just click on it, and I'm harvesting away. But I forgot to change my jewelry, so let's change out my jewelry because I'm not crafting, I want to harvest. Let me change up to my harvest ring. And let's try and get some wood here. So we're just chopping away. And remember those stats I showed you earlier? If I had a faster axe, I would chop faster. Currently, I only have a copper axe, not a gold. A gold axe actually has a higher rating. So, that's chopping a tree. Now if we run along here, and you can see all these colored spots on the ground, this is a place we can mine. So for example, this is emerald. So if we clip our pick, now see the size? That's that size rating. The smaller that is, the smaller the circle would be. We highlight over it and you just click. Now you can just hold down your mouse button and it'll just keep going. And that's where your speed comes in. And how much damage you're doing is how fast you're going to harvest this. And you just want to keep doing it until all of that color is gone. And there you go. We just mined some emeralds. Here's some cobalt. And we're just going to go into the ground here. Now right now stuff sits on the surface, but in the future they're talking about having this. Oh, and I have the sound of the game off, don't I? I'm sorry. You probably want to hear the music. I had the music off so I could talk to you without interruptions, but as you can see here, there's music in the background. Let me know if it's too loud. And you can also hear yourself chopping and picking away. I had it turned off, but sorry. And one thing that you want to pay attention to, say I wanted to harvest wood, and I'm out to collect barreled wood. Well, if I select this to barreled wood, now when I chop this tree, if I collect any barreled wood, which is the rare thing out of regular wood, it's going to go up in numbers, and you can just monitor how many you have. So you can set yourself targets and say, oh, I need so many of this, let me go out and harvest it. Just select you want to build with it and monitor your account. So on and so forth. So while I'm running across here, let me make sure I remember where I'm going here. I think it's that one. Let me see if I get any questions. If I find any marble, I'll harvest that because that's really cool harvesting. There's some over there. Alright, let me switch to axe. Let me check for questions. So, there are not guilds yet, but they're coming. Let's see here. Let me scroll back up. I think I missed some questions. Let's see here. So anything you build, you can make a template out of it when it works. For some reason, my template making skills have not worked, but maybe I'm just doing it wrong. But I know when you pull up your claim, it will make a template of everything that's there. Let's see here. A good idea for templates that I know is make sub-templates. So if you're building something big, make a small template and then use that template over and over again. This is a good way for like building sections of castles. So if you make your staircase, template your staircase, and then you can plop that staircase down as many times as you want. You don't necessarily have to template the entire castle. You make a window that you really like, template the window because you may need it later on, so on and so forth. Let's see here. The respawn spawn of the nodes is over time. So if I dig this hole, and as you can see here, I really like marble because I hope all harvesting will get this way, is you basically have to just really get going and follow the ore deep down into the mountain. But the resource filling in of this takes a while. It's gonna... Oh, what do you find? Oh, I think we got to the end of it. Okay. So this hole will stay here probably for a number of hours. It may fill in slowly, but it's not like it resets its servers usually. It will be there every time for a while. It takes time to fill back in. So you can tell if somebody else has been mining in the area just by holes. So we're just going to mine a few things before we go look at this next plot, and then we'll just go on a tour. Let's go look at some impressive stuff some people have built. And I honestly don't know what the length of time is. All I know is I see holes all over the place all the time. So I'm assuming it's a little longer, but it may be fairly short, as some people are indicating in chat. To unquip your pick. And so here, you can see how we got smoke coming off the top here, which suggests there's something going on inside. So there's a chimney here. There's a little balcony that we can walk in. And lo and behold, yep, we have our forge. We have a frame around our bank frame, and we can use the bank on anybody's plot. And we got stairs going up. So it's a work in construction, but you can see some different philosophies people have done with things. Not much here, but we got a little balcony down here. That suggests there's more. Alright, yeah. We got a fireplace. Some words on the wall. And it goes back into the mountain. Down inside. So while there's a lot of construction going on here, it doesn't seem obtrusive until we get to here. And then it's like, whoa! We're way inside the mountain. And you see she's been experimenting with various different things. This is like her build room. We have to climb our way out of here because we fell down in the hole. Stairs that don't go anywhere. Interesting. Have to find our way out now. So, a few more questions here. Let's see what we got. If you get stuck or lost, there is a function to theoretically get you out. I've never actually used it. But there is supposed to be a way that you can port yourself back to get out. I just have to find the entrance here. She hit it on us. This is kind of cool. It's like a puzzle. I want out! Help me, I'm lost. This is the man trap. She got us good. See if we can find our way out of here. Somewhere in here, there's a door. So we fell in it. This is funny. I don't know where we fell down in. This is awesome. Get me out, I'm stuck. What did she do? Oh, this is funny. It's a maze. It's a mazy maze. Ah, I think I figured it out. There we go. Do we have freedom? Freedom! This is hilarious. I don't know what she did. Oh. There it is. I found it. We have survived! We've escaped! Yay! So, let's see here. Who's somebody else? Well, let's go look at one more claim before we get out of here for the day, because really I've shown you pretty much everything. Let's go over here to this one. Ooh, this looks cool. It's almost like a little castle. Take a look. Alright. Bunch of crafting stations right on the roof. Nice. Tower. It's cheap. Let's go to the top of the tower first. Oh, wow, look at this. Little hut style up on the top of the roof. Open the door. Cool. The stair detail is pretty cool. Door here. Let's go inside. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Oh, another cavernous wall. Oh, we got tree roots pointing down. Big long stairs. Not much going on here yet. Still pretty cool. So you can see you actually have quite a bit of space to build with. This is just a couple of different plots. And as you can see off in the distance, oop, rubies. Going for rubies. All right. So, any questions? I think I've covered pretty much the basics of where Alpha is at. Ooh, somebody's got a treehouse. Nice. Ain't this impressive? Whose claim is this? Let's take a look. Shout out to Out's claim. They've got a treehouse. And they've been doing a lot with micro building. This is impressive. We got an underground section. And a treehouse. Looks like it's got a lift. Doesn't actually work, but the fact that they built a lift is pretty cool. Stairs. This is some really good construction work. Look at these rails. That is attention to detail. Even this one here that's warped. This is amazing. I really need to practice a building. I really do. And I'm betting quite a bit of these stairs were done with a template function. So once you build it once, you just kind of lay it down. You don't have to keep rebuilding over and over. Nice wood texture. Really nice wood textures. All connected up in the trees. Obviously still a work in progress. Even a bookshelf. Look at that. More stairs down the other side. Very cool. That is awesome. So, there we go. My review of Landmark. The potential is endless with what they can do. The way the islands work, I guess we could show you that real quick, is each of these are called islands. Right now you can get to the end of the world and run out of space. Eventually, they're talking about while they'll be separate, they'll kind of all be linked together. So, where am I at? Oop, I'm going the wrong direction. And as you can see here, all kinds of builds are just occurring all over the place. So, with that, we should prepare to say goodbye. Yeah, so in the future, you'll be able to have multiple claims. Hopefully in the future, you'll also be able to adjust the claim size, whether it's height, width, or depth, because some people don't all want the same size of claim. But again, having good claim management is going to be important. So if they limit it to one size and then you can have multiples, then you can go sideways or up by using those multiple claims. They're adding all kinds of things to the game, so if you're really interested in Landmark, you really should get over to the forums. You should follow the game. You should check it out. Beta will be starting eventually, and they'll be letting a lot more people in. Right now, you can only get into alpha if you purchase into it, buying into and supporting the game that way, but there is a lot going on. So, oops. Well, I guess my Bobot is turned off. Oh, there we go. That is, in a nutshell, Landmark from my perspective. I think it's hugely entertaining. I wish my build skills were better so I could actually show you something cooler, but the potential is limitless with what you can do in this game. If you like the idea of harvesting, if you like the idea of building, hopefully the building process gets a little more in-depth as far as your tools and your props, but right now it works for what it is. This is a game that you will thoroughly enjoy. I have spent time watching old TV shows and just harvesting like crazy so I can have the potential to build anything. It's just relaxing. It's just fun. It is a great little game that I look forward to a whole lot more from it in the future. Kaisi, hey, nice to see you. So with that, I'm going to call it a day, and I hope to see you all real soon. As my show is always about, it's about you. So if you have a request for a game, something specific in a game, all of that, just send me a request. Make sure you follow, make sure you like me, make sure you let people know to get over to my YouTube channel, check out the past shows, ask me what you would like to see in the future, and hey, I'm here for you. So anyway, you all have a great day. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you again really soon.